Hello students, I hope you are all fine and in good health. I discussed up to page number 36 related with the story or fiction Rat Trap. Now I am moving on to page number 37. As you know that already he had taken a fake identity of a person by the name of Niels Olaf, and because he thought that the Iron Master will give him few kroners, but it backfired totally because the Iron Master thought him, as you know, to be his old regimental comrade, and he requested the rat trap seller to be his guest for the Christmas. But the rat trap seller, who is already taken a fake identity of a man by the name of Niels Olaf, and he was very reluctant to go to the house of the Iron Master. Now let's see what happens. Now I no, I couldn't think of it, he said, looking quite alarmed. No, it's okay. I can't think of going to your house. He thought of the 30 kroner because at the back of his mind he had that stolen 30 kroner along with him still. To go up to the manor house. Manor house means a large house or a castle, you can say, would be like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den. He is thinking that these are unknown. This place is totally unknown. This man is unknown. Already he had taken a fake identity in order to please this man, but it would be a one step farther towards doom if he goes along with this man, because that will make him voluntarily surrendering himself into the lion's den. So he was not eager to go, and or rather to say, the rat trap seller, he was reluctant to go, but already he told a lie that yes, he was his regimental friend by the name of Niels Olaf. Now he shouldn't have done that. Now it will lead him into bigger trouble. Already he can smell it, that obviously he will move into a bigger trouble. So let's see. He only wanted a chance to sleep here in the forge and then sneak away as inconspicuously as possible. His main target was to stay here for the night in the warmth of the fireplace. And obviously, as soon as the day breaks, he would go out of this place, or rather to say, he would squeeze out or sneak out of this place. The Iron Master assumed that he felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing, whereas the Iron Master, on the other hand, thought that his old friend by the name of Niels Olaf, that actually he was not, the rat trap seller was not, he was already harboring a fake identity now, but the Iron Master was unaware of that. And the Iron Master thought that perhaps his friend was feeling a bit embarrassed, feeling a bit uncomfortable because of his tattered clothing and all this. So let's see what he told the rat trap seller. And here I quote: "Please don't think that I have such a fine home that you cannot show yourself there." That now he is very humble. He is saying that please don't feel uncomfortable, or don't think that I have such a fine home that you can't show up there. Doesn't Please don't feel like that. Please come along with me. He is pursuing the rat trap seller to come to his house as his guest and to be his guest. He said, "Elizabeth is dead." Elizabeth might be the name of the Iron Master's wife. Elizabeth is dead, and you may already have heard. My boys are abroad, and there is no one at home except my oldest daughter and myself. So we can get an insight into the life of this Iron Master. We get to know that the name of his wife was Elizabeth, and she died, and his sons, they were all settled abroad. Now he stays alone in the manor house along with his oldest daughter, and we will get to know about the name of that oldest daughter. She is a very famous character in this particular story, Edla Wilmanson. We'll get to know about her later. I have given you the name right now. See, so I repeat, my oldest daughter and myself. So these two people stay, he and his oldest daughter. His wife already died, as I told you, and the sons, they were all settled abroad. We were just saying that it was too bad we didn't have any company for Christmas. Now, he told the rat trap seller that he had a discussion with his daughter, and they were thinking that there were no one with whom they could celebrate the Christmas this time. Now come along with me and help us make the Christmas food disappear a little faster. Now he found his friend Nils Olaf, his old regimental comrade, and he is very much eager to take his old regimental comrade along with him, despite not knowing the fact that his old regimental comrade is actually a rat trap seller who had already taken a fake identity, thinking that he might give him some kroners. But on the other hand, it backfired, and now he requested the rat trap seller to be his honored guest, thinking him to be his old friend by the name of Niels Olof. And he told the rat trap seller, please come along with me and help us disappear the Christmas food a little faster. So please, I request you, my dear friend, come along with me to my manor house. But the stranger said no, and again no, and the iron master saw that he must quit, give in or quit. Now, but the many times he went on requesting, but each and every moment the stranger told him no, it is not possible, practically it is not possible, please forgive me. That means every time the stranger was reluctant, and every time the iron master requested, each and every time the answer from the stranger's side was no. So now let me continue. I'm moving on to the next paragraph. But the stranger said no, and again no. And the iron master saw that he must give in. There is no other way back. The iron master thought that, okay, fine. If you don't want to go, stay here. But he will send his daughter. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith, who knew him, understood very well that he had not said his last word. Now he went, but the blacksmith, who is to work under him, along with his helper, they knew it very well that the iron master haven't said his last word. He will return himself, or he might return with something else. It was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest came in. But this time it was not the iron master. Half an hour later, the sound of a carriage was heard near the factory or near the forge, and a new character was introduced. A new guest came in. It was not the iron master. I told you all about his daughter, his oldest daughter, by the name of Edla Wilmanson. For the very first time, she is introduced in this story. So let's continue. He had sent his daughter, apparently hoping that she would have better powers of persuasion or convincing than he himself. So he haven't came personally. He sent his oldest daughter by the name of Edla Wilmanson, so that Edla Wilmanson can persuade the rat trap seller, who had already taken a fake identity of a regimental comrade by the name of Niels Olaf, to actually come along with her. So let's see now whether Edla Wilmanson will be successful in pursuing the rat trap seller or not. So I'm moving on, dear students, to the next paragraph. He entered, followed by a valet, carrying on his arm a big fur coat. She was not at all pretty, but seemed modest and quite shy. Now, she was not extremely gorgeous, but she had two noble qualities. She was very modest and a bit shy also. In the forge, everything was just as it had been earlier in the evening. The master blacksmith and his apprentice means his helper, still sat on their bench, and iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace. The activities that were going on, okay, with the charcoal and the iron and all those things glowed in the furnace. Then along with that, the master blacksmith and his apprentice, they sat on the bench. They are indulged in the smelting of the iron, then all those processes related with the work of the factory. All those things were as it is. Nothing changed a bit. The only thing is that a new character came, and that is Edla Wilmanson. She came with a personal valet or a servant. And we know it very well why she came. Obviously, to persuade the rat trap seller to be their honored guest, thinking that this rat trap seller was an old acquaintance of his father by the name of Nils Olof. The stranger had stretched himself out on the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head, and that pig iron he had used as a pillow. And he was sleeping, and his hat pulled down over his eyes. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him, she went up and lifted his hat. So the young girl came, that is Edla Wilmanson, and lifted his hat. The man was evidently used to sleeping with one eye open. Very interesting. That means the rat trap seller, he was in the habit of sleeping with keeping one eye open. He jumped up abruptly. Abruptly means all of a sudden. Suddenly, we can say, and seemed to be quite frightened. And the rat trap seller, he seems to be quite frightened because he haven't thought that now a lady will come to persuade him. He haven't thought about it. He haven't thought about Edla Wilmanson or a girl or a lady, we can say, to visit him at this hour of the night. My name is Edla Wilmanson. I already told you about Edla Wilmanson to you all, dear students, said the young girl. My father came home and said that you wanted to sleep here in the forge tonight. And then I asked permission to come and bring you home to us. I am so sorry, Captain, that you are having such a hard time. Now, in a very polite manner, she told everything. She got the information about him from his father, and she also got the information that he decided to sleep in the forge in this cold environment all by himself, and that was the reason she came, and she came in order to take him along with her to their manor house. And she looked at rat trap seller and also told him, thinking him to be a regimental comrade, an old friend of his father, that I am very sorry you are having such a hard time. I can feel it by your dress, by your mannerisms, by your appearances. She looked at him compassionately with her heavy eyes, and then she noticed that the man was afraid. Now, she was looking at the rat trap seller, and she noticed that the rat trap seller was feeling very uncomfortable. The rat trap seller was a bit afraid also. Now, Edla Wilmanson, she thought that the behavior of this man is something a bit suspicious, highly suspicious, we can say. Either he has stolen something or else he has escaped from jail. See, a beautiful use of a correlative conjunction is here. We can find either or. So Edla Wilmanson made a guess in her mind. Now she thought that either this man had stolen something and that was the reason he might be very much scared, or else he was a convict. He had escaped from jail. Either of these two had happened. And see, these are the guess or the assumption been made by Edla Wilmanson, and she was correct because the rat trap seller, we know it because we went with the story. We know that he had stolen 30 kroners from an old man who used to live in a grey cottage near the woods. We know about it. So her guess or her assumption or her presumption was absolutely spot on. Now you see, she thought and added quickly, you may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve. So Edla Wilmanson told the rat trap seller that you don't have to worry, just stay along with us for the Christmas and then you can move on your own. But please come with us, be our honored guest. She said this in such a cordial manner, in such a friendly manner, that the rat trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. But the way she told, her powers of persuasion was so sweet and so friendly towards him that the rat trap peddler or the rat trap seller, the vagabond, the tramp, or the thief, whatever you may say him to be, he decided to move on. Move on means he decided that he should go along with this lady. So let me continue once again. I'm repeating this line. She said this in such a friendly manner that the rat trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss, he said. I will come at once. Now, the rat trap seller, he was so surprised that it looked like a dream to him, because he never ever received so much of love and generosity and compassion from people. Though he is now harboring a fake identity, but still it sounds very pretty strange to him the way the lady behaved with him in a very cordial and in a very compassionate, generous manner. He haven't thought of it, and that was the reason he was a bit surprised. And finally, he decided to, or finally, he agreed to move along with her to their manor house. So let me continue. He accepted the fur coat which the valet actually means the personal attendant, you can say, handed him with a deep bow. Remember, a valet also came with a fur coat, and now he decided to wear that fur coat. It will give him warmth. Threw it over his rags. Rags means he now had taken the fur coat from the valet, and then he put it over his tattered cloth or his body and followed the young lady out to the carriage without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. And then he haven't looked at the blacksmith, neither he looked at the apprentice of the blacksmith, and then he went with the valet and the lady. But while he was riding up to the manor house, that means while he was inside the carriage, he had evil forebodings. Evil forebodings means he had premonition of fear, whether whatever he is doing is right or it is not. He had an evil forebodings or premonition of fear in his mind, because he is moving along to the house of a stranger, definitely by harboring a fake identity, by using a fake identity. So the entire thing has been set up by him. He could have declined, but he told that yes, he was his friend Nils Olaf. Now, because of that reason, this lady came, and now he is moving to the manor house. He was thinking at the back of his mind, though he had 30 kroners with him that we know, he was thinking that whether the decision he had taken to move to the manor house and the decision that he had taken to harbor a fake identity inside his own mind related with the old acquaintance of this lady's father by the name of Nils Olaf, whether all these activities or actions done by him is okay, or whether he will be in danger or out of danger. So he's thinking about all these things, whether the turnaround will be in his favor or it will go against him. So while he was riding on the carriage and moving towards the manor house, he had some premonition of fear. Now it came in his mind because already he did one crime and then he had done another crime by harboring a fake identity. That is also a crime, apart from stealing of the 30 kroners that he had already done previously. So that was the reason he was thinking that something wrong might happen. He had some premonition of fear in his mind. Why the devil did I take that fellow's money? Now the repentance, now the guilt. Now he is regretting that why I had taken that fellow's money. He thought, now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. Now one crime leads to another one. Previously he had stole 30 kroners, now he had taken a fake identity. So one crime, he is moving from one crime to the another crime, or he is moving from one zone to another zone. Now he is thinking that he is already in that rat trap zone, and now it is very difficult for him to get out of this. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the ironmaster came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade, whom he had run across so unexpectedly. First of all, we must see to it that he gets a little flesh on his bones, he said to his daughter, who was busy at the table. And then we must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rat traps. Now, the next morning, the father and the daughter, they are having a conversation in the dining table, we can say. and it is the breakfast time, we can feel like. Now the iron master, the identity was not yet disclosed yet. Now he is making a lot of preparations in advance, that he would look after his old regimental comrade who had fallen downslide in his life, and he told his daughter that he should be fed well, he should be given maximum food so that he can consume it, and so that his health improves a bit. And apart from that, he even decided to look for a respectable job for his friend who is actually wavering and roaming in a helpless manner in the country selling rat traps, but the identity haven't been disclosed yet. But when the rat trap seller will come and will meet both of them, both the father and the daughter, this particular morning, well dressed up, well shaven also, and bathed by the valet, now the iron master will be shocked, and after that something else will happen. So, dear students, I have done up to page number 38. Kindly, you listen to this audio presentation. In my next audio presentation, I will continue that what exactly will happen with the rat trap seller right now, because the father and the daughter, they are having a conversation and they are thinking about some well-being or welfare that the iron master decided to do for his friend. But when the rat trap seller will come well dressed and well shaven and well bathed in front of the iron master, he will be shocked, because he will realize that this is not his friend. That means someone else had entered his house on a fake identity, by taking a fake identity. And what will happen regarding all those things, that I will discuss in my next audio presentation. Till then, please listen to this audio presentation, and if there is any doubt, let me know. Thank you, students. Thank you all.